Hello there. So for this video I've decided to do something a little bit different, as instead of doing each mission individually, I've decided that I'll do all of the missions that include any of the Eldar parts in this one video. I'll possibly go back and do all of the Orc ones, and then in the future we're going to do the same thing with all of the Chaos missions. So I have recorded all three missions, I've cut it to the little bits that were actually somewhat interesting, maybe a little bit funny, things like that, and then we'll do a little bit of a voiceover for all of that, and we'll see how this video goes. So if you do prefer this, then hopefully you enjoy it going forward. And without further ado, here is the rest of the video. Hello there. So, like I just said there before, we're going to have a little look at anything that we done before. Now, as you can see, I'm doing it in the media player, so hopefully that's not too much of a big issue. But this is the first mission that we're on just now. So in this mission, literally what we end up finding out is that these guys, the Eldar, are actually somewhat of an issue. They've been doing things that are being a bit of a nuisance to us. So we've taken that just a tiny bit personally, as we do, because we are the Imperium and we are xenophobic as full fuck. So anything that's Eldar, anything that's Orc, anything that's not human, we don't like. Even some humans, we don't like. So this part of the mission, you have to run a gauntlet. You have to eventually get rhinos, get them up, to get the troops up, to then take out these Dark Reapers, Dark Eldar, different thing entirely. So we take on these Dark Reapers, which ironically enough in this game they are used as a heavy infantry and an anti-infantry troop choice, whereas in the tabletop game they are in fact a anti-vehicle troop choice. These Reaper launchers are actually missile launchers, which makes it just a wee bit ironic, because in the original Dawn of War game the Dark Eldar didn't quite have a troop choice that was good at taking on vehicles. They did in Winter Assault. They brought in the Fire Dragons, which had fusion guns, which were kind of like melter guns. Well, they are melter guns. Here is obviously where we would usually sit there and go, there's more to this than we are usually expecting, because that's Chaos. I was trying to see if there was any signifiers that would tell you what it was, but it does seem to be just like a Chaos Undivided. You can see my camera work is pretty naff. This was just a wee clip because I don't need that anymore. This was just a quick little look over of your kind of command squads. You've got your captain, you've got your librarian and an apothecary. This was just when we walked up here, decided, oh look, there's a venom, let's try and take that on. And then warp spiders spawned in. I'm like, oh goody, let's try and kill them too. So this entire mission we're trying to get up to a certain way marker, because Chaos has dug it out and we're curious as to why. Why have they dug this out? Why did they want to know what's going on here? So we wander up here, fighting our way through Eldar and other Xenos in order to find out. This was just to give you all a little quick look over some of the close-ups of the actual Space Marine models. Keeping in mind this is a game from 2004. It's not the greatest of cinematic things, even with this newest definitive edition, which is pretty good. It does change up quite a lot of stuff. It's still limited in its ability, so give it a bit of a break. It's not going to break any ground. This is just a quick look at the base, how it looks at this point. This is where we discovered some more warp spiders and kind of took care of them off it quickly. This is where we found out, oh, we're still not rid of these damn spores. But at the same time, they were taking out Eldar too, so we kind of like them for that. But they're still orcs, so we're still going to go in and we're still going to wipe them out, because they're orcs. So we're going to take them out, and we're going to make sure that it is with extreme prejudice. Now, as you've seen in the last 4 episodes of this campaign, we have been fighting the orcs for long enough. This is just kind of like our little remnant of what the orcs once were. It's nowhere near their full force. their warlord has been killed, so in this stage they would all be disparate little parts, and they would be desperately trying to have one orc would try to be taking over all of them. Now this entire stage here is actually the last stage of this mission, and because I basically had a good army of Space Marines, apothecaries, the captain, the librarian, some of the Hellfire dreadnoughts, I just basically done this as a whole scene. In other words, just going through the whole thing and just wiping out everything as they wandered along, because at this stage you're talking almost 100 models of Space Marines. I think it's, so what would that be, 9 times 20, that would be 180 Space Marines wandering up. It's not actually 180 because you have one model, one pop cap for each of your builders. There's 2 of them I think, so 18, so it wouldn't be 180, it would probably be closer to 162. 162 would be wandering up here, and obviously we're just catching little warp spiders there. This is a nice little separate group that decided to just stop. Apparently they fixed the pathing issues, doesn't fucking look like it to me, but obviously with this we then wander on down to this area. Warp spiders decide to spawn in front of 3 fucking dreadnoughts. Never known that to be an intelligent move, but hey ho, that's just the AI. That's obviously where it was meant to spawn, that was what it was meant to do. It just wasn't meant to meet dreadnoughts. But they will wander on down there. Obviously at this stage in half of these missions you are talking about the sergeants are running about with power fists, they're running about with plasma pistols, they're tanks. Every sergeant in every squad has got a power fist. Here we've actually got a concerted effort by the Eldar to try and deal with us. We've got a Seer Council, we've got Guardians, Dark Reapers, Howling Banshees. Unfortunately we have Heavy Bolters. Doesn't really agree well with Eldar physiology. It doesn't quite stand up to it. So yeah, they take a bit of a hit. And obviously this is us just taking out all of the Eldar webway gates. It is part of a mission that we have with those 2. We finish it, you can just see it on the edge there. So with that, we've basically done this mission. We had to get down to this way marker. This is us then on to the next mission where the way marker has led us to, which is essentially a ambush. It's also the first time you see a Wraith Lord. Now it's quite funny because these Wraith Lords actually more closely resemble a very old design of the Wraith Lords. They're a little bit different in the model range now, but I still like them. I quite like Wraith Lords. I think they're quite cool. They're sleek. And also the Bale Tan, which is who you're fighting. I think their colour scheme's really nice, that kind of green and white. This is a little Imperial Guard contingent that you get, that literally all it does throughout this entire mission is sits in this area and holds off an orc onslaught that's trying to come around. I don't know if it actually really does take off or anything like that. Every single time I've done this mission I've always just left them. This is just a little showcase, 3 squads, Space Marines taking on Guardians. Guardians are just infantry, they're not even heavy infantry, they're just infantry. But this is a little showcase of what it is that the Imperial Guard are doing. So obviously you see the orcs are trying to come around that corner there. So I think it's like an offshoot of a area that they come from, that they're trying to attack from. This is just us showcasing missile launchers went to the front, got in close combat with a Wraith Lord. Horrible idea. So shoot it with missiles. There you go. Solves it. Another little showcase of the Lehman Russies doing what they're meant to do. I don't think the orcs ever get anywhere close to the Imperial Guards. This is a little hidden base that you never ever see. You can't really get to. You've got 2 units that can reach it. Neither of them's really equipped to deal with all of this. This was an Assault Marine one that I just thought, I'm going to see what happens in here, because I seen that there was a strategic point. And then they came in, and they obviously, as you can see, they're getting humped. Then I tried with land speeders with similar results. They had got even more shite in here now. So then I'm stuck there trying to figure out why the fuck, they're no gonna do it. But in this mission, you don't have access to some of the better and higher tier stuff that the Space Marines can get. If you were able to, say, get in these land speeders and then drop Terminators in here, you could deal with all this. Getting them back out, that would be interesting, but you would be able to deal with them. This is a little forward base that your main force can actually get to. So with this, we went in, you can see we've got 3 Lehman Russes. Nope, they're not Lehman Russes, they're Predators. Predator tanks. Now this is on the Rhino chassis that you've seen in the previous video, very quickly, but these, I have got one that is an Annihilator, that's got 3 last cannons, and I think I've got 2 of them that are Destructors, which are 2 heavy bolters and an autocannon. And I mean, you can see just even from what little you can see here, it's very different than any tank we've got, because most tanks that we have nowadays in modern era are just turrets. It's just one turret that doesn't have sponson mounted weapons, but obviously in this they do. This is the end of this mission. This is where we've went all out again. We've got a good number of soldiers, we've got a good number of vehicles. We're just going to wander up this valley and kill everything. So that is what we are doing. As you can see, we've got 4 Predators that are just taking care of everything here. We've got our Space Marines kind of wandering up as we're doing it. We've got the Dreadnoughts that are wandering up as well, and then coming up to here, then we meet Fire Prisms. The Fire Prisms are a pain in the arse, so dealing with them quickly with as many last cannons as we've got last cannons on the Predators, we've got last cannons on these Dreadnoughts, one of which just got wiped out, but it also took out the last of the Fire Prisms, so we'll take that. And here you can see the whole contingent. We've got at least 4 or 5. We've got 5 Predators here. More than enough to deal with most threats, considering in later games you're limited to 2. So as you can see here, we're taking on a Wraith Lord. We've got an Eldar Webway. That's because a Bright Lance was set up ready to kill it. There's a couple of Bright Lances that are shooting at this one as well. There's 2, 3, 4 platforms. That is enough to make a horrible day for them. But obviously, as the rest of the troops eventually start to do their pathing correctly, then they come in, they make everything a little bit easier. It's actually a bit of a nuisance, because despite the fact that these are gun platforms, they're not considered vehicles, they are considered infantry. Make it make sense. It annoys me too. But with this, we've wandered up towards this marker, and essentially all we have to do here is wipe out all of the buildings. So you can see that a heavy support portal to the side is getting destroyed, and I'm pretty sure after that webway is destroyed, that is actually it. We are done. Everything is dusted. I'm going to use the listening posts as well. I did. So this is the 3rd mission, and you fight one of them. Now that's the relic unit of the Eldar. It is called the Avatar of Cain. Now the Avatar of Cain is obviously if you know Chaos, it's basically like a greater demon of Cain. It's essentially what it is. But it is the avatar of the bloody handed god. This part is quite funny, because he comes into my base to fuck shit up. I have nothing here to deal with it. Stands about, touches my armoury, and then starts to walk out. I think the AI's got a certain amount of health that it can lose before it then starts to wander off. That's all I can really gather at this point, is that it retreats because it meets a health bracket, so it runs off. This is where I've decided I'm going to actually come in and wipe it out, because it's been pissing me off. And then he kindly just stands there and lets me kill him. Just like that. I don't know if I interrupted his path or if he could do anything, but that was it. That was me killing the Avatar of Cain. This is us just having a little wander. Having some Assault Marines take on some Rangers. Not exactly a fair fight. They're Assault Marines. They are close combat Marines. They are Rangers. They are snipers. But yeah, So as you can see here, we've got a good little force here. This is essentially when we had got to excuse me, when we had got to a good place and we had decided, you know what, we're going to take over the rest of this map, and we'll take this final relic, which you can see in the background there. That's relic 3 out of 3 that we're going for. Once we had got all 3 of those, as you can see in the map here, we've got this entire left side basically conquered. I wanted to go in, jump in with these assault marines and take out this little forward base. At this point I just kind of leave them to it because there's no other support portals. No, it's not that. Whatever the little infantry guns are called. This one was just a little gimmick I took to have a couple of land speeders come in and just be a nuisance, because obviously you have to capture a point to open a gate to get across the bridge, but they can fly over the broken bridge. So I did that. I let them jump over the broken bridge, take out one of these webway gates just to be an arsehole, just no other reason, just to be a nuisance. And then for some reason they tried to build right there at this again. Then sent the 4 of them up to take on a listening post, actually half expecting them to die. And they didn't. As you can see, they held their own. They took out everything that was here, including a Seer Council. Didn't think they were going to beat that, especially because they had a Bright Lance grav platform with them, and they beat that. Which again, that goes towards it being an infantry a bit more, because it died to bolter fire as opposed to missile fire. Took out all of these warp spiders and then a listening post, and I was shocked at that. I didn't expect it to do that. This was after we had held the gate for 2 minutes, and then they started to pour out. As you can see, we've got 2 Wraith Lords at the front there. Fuck that. That squad's already running away, because I didn't want them to die, because they've got an apothecary. He can become in handy. But you can see there the pure amount of firepower that's coming from the Dark Reapers, from the Guardians, from us. I've got 3 there. Do I let them die? I don't think so. This just gives you a quick look around my base as it is. An orbital relay, which I never had any fucking use to actually use. But aye, so we had got to this stage where we can get Terminators if we want, but I had all of this. Didn't really need anything else after I had all of this. An Assault Marine squad, I think about 6 Space Marine squads. I mean, you can see how easily we just basically wipe through everything. There's a Seer Council. I mean, they're just... Once you get past the scary parts of these missions, which is just the beginning, which if you want to see those, I have got previous videos. I've got older videos on my channel, they'll probably be closer to a year old now. If you want to see them, they're there. If you go far enough back, you'll see from mission 1 to I think it's 11 in this series. You can see how I did it that time. It'll not be much different than how I've did it this time. Just this time, because it's the definitive edition, I've tried to make it a little bit more streamlined and just kind of give you a overcap of some of the somewhat funnier, maybe better scenes in these games, because otherwise it's just kind of boring. But you can see here as well, they said that they've improved the pathing. Doesn't look like it, because you can see Space Marines that are just walking away, not staying as part of the squad, and all they're good for is getting shot at. So if you look at those 2 are all the way up there, they would have just got shot at and died. I would have to replace them. That's what we're after. It's not the maledictum, it's the key, I think. But you can see, look at him, he's getting shot at as he's walking away. That's all that they do. They just walk away and they get killed because they're fucking arseholes. So the pathing, it's better than it was, but it's still got the same issues. And I mean, I just kind of like these kind of scenes where you've got, well, look at him as well. He's just standing there and dying. But these scenes, these are what it kind of makes it quite good as well, as when they just stop and they go right, and then they shoot at the things, blow things up, kill the other. Aye. So these are the scenes that I do enjoy. That's why I'm giving you this video, this format. We've got a Predator up at the front. It's seen Dark Reapers. Again, had the Dark Reapers been done the way that they are in the tabletop game, these Predators would be fucked. Because Predators are just mulch for Dark Reapers. And obviously, Wraith Lord against Last Cannons, it's not really a fair fight. They will lose. You come to see as well, as much as I do have Assault Marines, I think they're garbage because they're close combat, so they have to get into close combat. But they die. I mean, look, he's getting squished. They just... See, that's the squad wiped. That's why I can't be arsed with them. They're rubbish. Anyway, with this, we are coming to the end of the video because once these guys all die, that's the end of it. So, if you've enjoyed this kind of video and this format, I do hope you have, and you come back more and more often, I shall do the same for the Chaos portion, and I hope to see you in the future. With that, thank you.